and understaffed courts are hurting LA's most fragile families.
It's actually fairly accurate to say that we're dealing with these families in a much more superficial way than we really need to in order to achieve the best outcomes for kids and families. And trust me, that's a problem.
The attorneys don't have it any easier.
25,000 children are involved in the dependency court system here in LA County, and we represent all of them.
Leslie Heimoff is the director of the Children's Law Center, which employs 120 attorneys.
Right now in Los Angeles, most of our attorneys represent upwards of 240 children. The recommended caseload size is 160 children.
The courts and the attorneys cannot turn down cases, even though resources are shrinking. A recent judicial report suggested LA Dependency Court should have 44 courtrooms based on the number of people in need. Judge Nash has only 20.
You have to think, well, how much time are we spending on each case in court each day? And if you figure it out, sometimes probably averages considerably less than 10 minutes.
And sometimes both attorneys and judges learn facts in a case just minutes before it's heard.
I was just handed these TILPs about 30 seconds ago.
Yes, Your Honor, on behalf of Alejandra, I myself just got the TILP as well. We looked at it just for a moment together.
If the attorney isn't able to get to the things on Monday that they had hoped to get to on Monday and they get pushed over till Tuesday, with each day, it's a child that's waiting for treatment or waiting for a sibling visit or waiting to have a motion filed on their behalf, perhaps.
So kids are getting stuck in the system longer, it sounds like.
Getting stuck either longer or not always getting what they need as quickly as they should.
And that's what worries Judge Pellman with this boy. His dad isn't in the picture, and his mom is in prison for murder. He's struggling to stay in school.
And it appears the issues right now are not safety issues, but issues regarding the education and therapeutic services.
The boy is assigned another attorney to help him get those services. More delays.
There's not enough programs. The programs for children are also being cut, and I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot.
Millions have been slashed from low-cost services for children and parents. Programs like domestic violence and drug rehab can be essential if parents want to get their kids back. Attorney Ken Krikorian heads the Los Angeles Dependency Lawyers. He represents the parents.
We represent indigent clients. They have no money. Now with the budget cuts, they cannot get free services, they cannot get low-cost services. The waiting lists are tremendously long, and that really impacts the clients and their ability to get their children back.
Another challenge. Los Angeles is the only county in California to require parents to pay for the services themselves. We see this many times with the domestic violence programs. If the court has ordered a 52-week domestic violence program, that could cost up to $1,300. And it has a huge impact because if you can't pay for it, you start the program and then you just can't afford it.
When there's a lack of services available to them, they cannot start those programs in a timely manner. Thus, they can't complete them in a timely manner. They are going to lose their children.
That almost happened to Michelle Dodge.
It was the worst feeling I've ever had to think that I might not get my little girl because I'm on some waiting list and I have a time limit when I'm doing everything I can to try and get into somewhere.
Michelle lost custody of her daughter last year because she was abusing drugs. She says she spent 3 months trying to enroll in a court-mandated rehab class, but found many were closed because of budget cuts.
Finding a program that would accept me right away was impossible. There was waiting lists after waiting lists that I had to be on, and then I had to pay for it.
Michelle got into a program just in time. Other parents aren't so lucky.
They're on a time clock, and they need to get into things right away. And when you have parents that have limited resources, perhaps no income, monolingual, those services are even more scarce.
Patricia McKenna works within the courthouse, helping parents get the services they need.
They're here to try to show the court that they're doing what they're supposed to do to reunify with their children, and unfortunately, a lot of families don't.
We saw that kind of case in Judge Pellman's courtroom later that day. Two parents trying to get their son back.
We needed help, and I was the one who called the police on us, and I knew that we were out of control.
And when you say you needed help, what did you need help with?
We were addicted to drugs, and our lives were way out of control.
And what is different today?
Mom completed drug rehab, but recently failed a drug test.